Seattle. Over there on the right is the Columbia Center Tower. Just becoming visible to the left, the Space Needle on the foot of Queen Anne Hill. Isn't as tall as the Columbia Center Tower. Seattle is just going to get better as we get closer. These little making of videos as working with Show Me Seattle Tour. We got a film crew that's come over to Bainbridge Island today to get footage of this bedroom community of Seattle, of Bainbridge, and now we're heading back to Coleman Dock on the Seattle waterfront. Mr. Red Jacket had to stop right in front of me. Smack dab, right there. City, Seattle, which was originally named after the river that flows into Puget Sound here, the Duwamish River, so originally called Dewamps, renamed in honor of Chief South, who was the leader of the Suquamish and allied tribes. About 4 different tribes were under his control, and we are the only city in the United States that was named after a then living Native American. According to the belief of the natives, using someone's name after they died would cause them to be disturbed in their eternal rest, so they modified his given name. Well, his baptized name, his Christian name was Self, and they changed it a bit to be Seattle, as his name was, even his given Christian name, well, Noah was the second name taken, but South was pretty much unpronounceable to most. Doc Maynard, I understand, was able to eventually learn to properly pronounce the T in his name, but Seattle is a close approximation of how his name would be said in English, but not exactly it, so he didn't get disrupted in his sleep after his demise in the 1860s. I didn't actually right, so shortly after the arrival of the Americans, we just went to his graveside today on Bainbridge Island. Now you're getting a good view of the city skyline, except for the film crew right in front of me. One of the most economical ways to get on the water here in Seattle is to take a ferry boat ride from Coleman Dock to Bainbridge Island or to Bremerton. Today, the cost for a walk-on passenger was just over $9. The vehicle under 22 feet was $20. Take your RV or something up to 30 feet to $60. As a walk-on passenger, there is no charge for the return trip. So you pay going westbound only. Now we can start to make out the stadiums. Yes, the weather forecast today was partly cloudy with a chance of rain, some clearing in the afternoon. Of course, the clearing in the afternoon hasn't occurred yet. And they're predicting weather like this for tomorrow as well. Still waiting for summer. It is, what's today, the 9th? Today's the 11th? The 11th of July. And it's
72, high of 70.
The high of 70 today.
I'm not sure we hit 70. Not where we were. In Everett, the high was 64.
A little colder than typical, but really this is what people expect of Seattle. Gray skies and rain. I'll take it over the bitter cold of real winters. The Great Wheel of Seattle has reopened, as has Miners Landing and the aquarium. All, of course, the reduced capacity, but you can go back down to the waterfront and enjoy some of the activities that have reopened. And the Fisherman's Terminal, and at Miners Landing, you can once again experience the seafood feast. The sea feast provided at the Crab Pot Restaurant is another one of those recommendations that I generally give on my tours with Show Me Seattle Tours. A fun way to have a seafood meal. They bring your food out in a big stainless steel bowl and just dump it on the table. They pile it up, leave the bowl to put the shells from your crab and oyster, clams and mussels into. All the seafood is steamed up with the red potatoes and baby corn and the andouille sausage. Kind of spicy, like a Cajun spice. It's delicious. Minimum order for 2 persons starts at about $25 each and goes up to $65 each if you want just crab, and lots of crab, as well as the other stuff. They have a blackberry upside down cake, or no, blackberry cobbler. Yeah, so good. There's Miners Landing. They've also got the Fisherman's Restaurant. Here's an ice cream place and a gift shop. And one of my favorite theaters experiences I've ever had was doing the Wings Over Washington, where it's a simulated hang glider flight over the scenic Washington State features. That was really cool. And the aquarium is always worth checking it out. 5 times a day they're going to feed the sea otters. They give a little presentation as they hand feed the sea otters, get fed restaurant quality crab and shrimp and mussels and abalone, and they'll introduce you from the youngest to the oldest of the sea otters there at the aquarium. 5 times a day they feed them, so that's always something to inquire about when you arrive. When's the next feeding for the sea otters? And you'll want to see that while you're there. Seattle Aquarium is also the only aquarium in the United States that has a functioning fish hatchery built into the aquarium, where the salmon are drawn back by the smell of the water to where they were born. Their eggs are incubated there and released in the spring. Pretty amazing. Take a trip while you're in Seattle down to the waterfront and see the aquarium. It's really worth the admission price. Now you can get a good view of the stadiums. Not a good view. You still make them out there. With the white arches is CenturyLink Field, where the Seattle Seahawks hope play football in this open air stadium. They can seat 69,000. That's right. It was originally 68,000. Somehow they jammed another 1,000 seats in there. But they share the stadium with the Seattle Sounders. They also have musical events that go there, and some of the major companies that are headquartered in Seattle have their team building events and company parties at both CenturyLink Field or next to it at T-Mobile Park. Baseball stadium has the lights on, and it looks like the roof is closed today because it is slightly raining. There we got on the right, the Smith Tower, opened in 1914. Lyman Cornelius Smith and his sons oversaw the construction of this, at that time, the tallest building west of the Mississippi River, the fourth tallest building in the world when it opened. The Columbia Center Tower was financed by Martin Selig, who found a loophole in the law concerning how tall your building be. He was able to exceed the cap on how tall you could build, because he discovered something that said for every separate floor of retail shops with a street level entrance, you could have an additional 10 stories on your building. So he designed the street level to have 3 different entrances and 3 different street levels, and thus got 30 more floors than anybody could. Been the tallest building in Seattle since 1985, but there's a taller one being constructed to the left over there, and there's 2 more that are going to be taller in the works. The cranes in Seattle exceed the number of cranes than any other American city. Chicago coming in second place with about 20 less cranes than us. None of these are going anywhere. Anytime you see a old-fashioned parking lot that's just like a paved over lot, not a building, but just a lot with a little pay here kiosk and lines to designate the spots, they're just waiting to put another skyscraper up on that property. Originally built in 1888, Coleman Dock has been crashed into several times. It was just, no, that's absolutely wrong. It was the 1860s when they put Coleman Dock up originally. It was burnt down in the Great Fire of 1889. The Great Fire of Seattle decimated this entire part of the city, and a new dock was quickly put up. It got crashed into by a ferry that went full speed ahead instead of reverse as they were docking. And that happened again. And so twice the clock that adorns this ferry terminal has been dunked into the water. After the second accident in 1912, it was repaired and put up, but then during the renovations that occurred in 1936, it was taken away and put in storage, and where it remained undiscovered and forgotten until the 1970s, when another remodel built the one that is currently being remodeled, seismically built this time so that it can withstand earthquakes. This is the largest ferry terminal in the state of Washington, where we have the largest ferry fleet in the country, providing transportation across our liquid highways to the bedroom communities on Bainbridge Island and all the way across Puget Sound in Bremerton. There's many different routes you can take, but this is the largest terminal and the busiest routes coming into the city of Seattle, right on the Seattle waterfront. The people that take this boat get a bit jaded to it, but when the weather's clear, you can see Mount Rainier, Mount Baker. It's not uncommon to see some wildlife, see some whales, see some otters.
If you're a walk-off passenger, please maintain a social distance of 6 feet or more between yourself and other passengers and crew members upon disembarking. Now arriving Seattle, Falls Shore.
Your attention, please. We are now arriving at our destination. Please make sure that you have all of your personal belongings before disembarking the vessel. Drivers and passengers, return to your vehicles. For safety and health reasons, do not start your engine until directed by a crew member. Walk-on passengers will disembark using the overhead walkway from the main passenger cabin. Cyclists should return to their bicycles at this time. All passengers must disembark the vessel on arrival. Thank you for sailing aboard the Washington State Ferries. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
So we were the first vehicle, the first auto vehicle that was allowed to board the boat, so we should be the first one off. But first they're going to let the bicycles go, and then the motorcycles will go.
I am gonna get.
Then they'll start to disembark the cars.
Have you been doing
Yeah, he's live streaming now.
live streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought you might be doing a lapsed.
Oh, that would have been nice. I haven't got that camera with me because the SD card is full, and I don't know how.
What's that?
I don't have my Osmo with me. I don't know how to use it. I've made the time lapse work, but I haven't been able to watch it. I don't know why these walk-on passengers are special. Getting to walk off of here is uncommon.
I'm surprised they're letting them.
Yeah, me too. They might be employees. Because that's good. If you're Washington State Ferry, maybe they'll let you do that.
Oh, okay. That has to be what it is then.
This is pretty cool. Check this out.
Oh yeah. Just even seeing the bus is good. Nice. Pulling in, that's sick.
And I can just kind of like speed that up, but it's like,
Yep.
it's a pretty.
You made the move. Makes me want to pull the mirror in. These guys right here on the right are so close.
Fuck.
They're gonna let all these guys off right there.
We got lucky that we're fine.
Sorry about the cursing there. Somebody went to collapse a mirror and it smacked the window really hard. Gotta go.